Hi Natalia,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah,
Ready to meet my audience.
welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Natalia.
Excuse me?
Welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Natalia.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for my introduction.
Yeah. Before going to our session, I would like to introduce you to our audience, Natalia. Yeah. Natalia is a professional certified coach with over 30 years of experience in HR and talent management across multinational companies. She specializes in executive and business coaching, group coaching, and HR mentoring, using her unique expert coaching framework to foster a growth mindset and unlock in leadership potential. Natalia works closely with executives, leaders, and HR professionals to enhance strategic thinking, communication, and team performance. Her coaching is available in English, Ukrainian, and Russian, ensuring a personalized and accessible experience. Clients consistently gain greater and self-awareness, resilience, and leadership effectiveness under her guidance. That was a great bio, Natalia, and stage is yours.
Thanks so much. And hello to my dear audience. Thanks for choosing this time and coming to meet me. Well, to start with, I will never forget that regional town hall in 2016 when our VP told us that he is retiring. And just like that, the entire EMEA region, which was Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa, was being dissolved. Everything what we would have built was disappearing. Within 6 months, nobody, even not even the most senior bosses, would have jobs. I was leading at that time regional L&D team, leadership and development. We had ambitious goals, a strong team, and suddenly no future. I watched my people freeze, panic, deny, emotionally checked out, and honestly, I didn't feel any better at that time. It was shock, it was fear, it was heaviness of uncertainty. But something in me clicked. I even don't know what was. Was it actually empathy to people who suffered? Was it my obstinance or a hyper responsibility? But I told my team, you know, if we are really as cool as we think we are, that's a good moment for us to prove this. So we restructured our goals, we finished what we actually could at that moment, and we made sure that our work would outlive us in this company. I promised them transparency. I helped each of them to find their next role and I let them go as soon as they found one. And one by one, they did, until I was the only one who left with no job, no certainty, and still showing up, doing my job, supporting people, actually closing the chapter well. I even had to sign my resignation letter. And then something unexpected happened. My manager, who had seen me lead through this, she fought for me. And she created a new job in a different region. And that was the beginning of my next chapter. And actually, at that time, uh, it has become clear to me that leadership isn't about keeping your seat at the table. It's more about how you act when the table disappears. So I was introduced to you already, and actually, what I'm doing as professional certified coach, ICF, as executive and leadership coach with over 30 years of experience in HR and talent management in such well-respected companies as Microsoft, Kraft Foods, Mondelez, I have walked through the transformation myself. And now I help other leaders on their journey when they go through their own transformations. But you know, it wasn't by chance when I selected the topic of vulnerability and strengths of female leaders, just because I am also a female leader and I'm also vulnerable. And that's why before coming to you, I arranged a focus group of 10 smart business ladies. That's why what I'm telling you today, it's not only my hypothesis, but it's also our collective thinking. So the more I work with female leaders and the more I actually reflect on my own path, the more I see this quiet contradiction which many of us carry. From childhood, girls are taught to be, well, girls, to nurture, to be first to forgive, to read emotions and smooth the conflict. We are praised for being kind, thoughtful, gentle, actually for being good girls. At the same time, the boys are taught to compete, to fight, they do sport, they are taught to stay strong and even not to cry. And then we step into business, into boardrooms, strategy roles, startup cultures, where the rules are completely different, actually much closer to male habits, where leadership very often means act fast, show no doubt, deliver results, where empathy becomes too soft, being emotional is mistaken for indecision. We are expected to be assertive, but not too much. Strong, but still likable. Visible, but never too loud. And this is where I see this double bind. If you lead gently, you're not strong enough. If you lead powerfully, you are too much. And actually, I see the cost of this daily in my coaching sessions. I work with senior female leaders in FMCG, IT, founders of successful businesses, strategic, experienced, smart, and beautiful, by the way. And still, in 90% of cases, we land in the same place, like confidence, valuing herself, owning her own voice, feeling the internal pressure to prove, to justify, to shrink. With male, it doesn't seem like this. Maybe 20%. Well, it's my own statistics, but probably even less than 20. And this gap is real. And this is what is really exhausting. One of my clients at the beginning of our coaching collaboration said that it's like I have to choose between being soft or being strong. There is no space for both. The other, a senior FMCG leader, said that sometimes I feel like I need to wear an armor just to survive in a leadership meeting. And you know, it echoed with me very much because I also do remember such leadership meetings when I really wanted to be dressed in armor. Actually, that GM was fired 7 months later, but I do remember that feeling. It still stays with me. You know, it's like our voice is different, not like it is untrue, but it doesn't sound like a proper leadership voice. But it is a big lie. The truth is that we can be both soft and strong, empathic and strategic, intuitive and structured. And we should be both, by the way. Otherwise, we pay for this really big price. One of the hardest truths about female leadership is that when we try to hide our parts of ourselves, we really lose. We learn to hide our vulnerability, our deep feelings, softness, empathy, even uncertainty, because we are taught that these can be signs of weaknesses and we don't want to be weak. But what does it cost us? It shows up in overwork, overcompensation, burnout, disconnection, and sometimes less salaries. Women really push themselves beyond the limit, trying to be, or at least look like I'm strong enough. But we know that very often, at least in my part of the world, women also carry other responsibilities. And actually, they care about the family, about children. is very much on their shoulders. And this comes on top of their job and their leadership role. So we carry more, we say less, and on the way, we lose connection to our energy, to our needs, to people who matter most, and sometimes to true ourselves. And of course, it can be destructive for the personality and for the health, and actually for everything what we are doing. In this case, our leadership loses its heart. Many brilliant women actually shared that they don't feel like leaders. They wrestle with this imposter syndrome. Is it familiar to you as well? That inner voice which whispers, "You're not enough, you don't belong here." And let us be honest, if I don't feel like a strong leader, I will not show up as a strong leader. Other people would feel this really as a weakness. And you know what? It's not typical of the majority of men at all. By the way, have you noticed that if a woman leads a legal firm, you can be sure 100% that she has a law diploma. If a man leads a legal firm, he might have a diploma in engineering, and he is still confident that he can do this, and he's doing this. But for women, it's so required that it's kind of proof that they deserve to be here, that they are qualified for this. You know, in such cases, I actually advise my customers, my clients, to make kind of, say, glory file or glory album, and to collect different proofs of their achievements, their diplomas, awards, certificates, photos of their glorious moments. Sometimes it helps, but of course it doesn't help always to actually to press this inner critics. This inner critics is in our head. And this voice actually can be louder and more persistent and even more draining for us. As one of, as the owner of one private business says, I have made it myself. I have built this business, and still I'm waiting for someone to tap me on the shoulder and say, that's enough. You're not supposed to be here. And you know, now I just remembered about another probably difference between this male and female approach to leadership. Actually, women do have a very good memory. They do remember about all their mistakes, not just blunders and failures, but just all their mistakes for the whole life. If you ask any successful woman when she made a mistake, she could share eagerly what she did wrong 10 years ago. Well, men also remember their mistakes for 36 hours. This is statistics which seems to be correct, at least what I observe with my clients and with people I communicate with. So this is not rare, this is systematic. So it seems that hiding our vulnerability doesn't help us. It makes us lose our energy, our voice, our connection. Then the real question is, how do we get it? And this is where coaching really becomes powerful, because coaching doesn't ask women to become someone else. It helps them to unlearn those habits that don't serve anymore and to reconnect to the leadership that is already there. Probably not polished, not for somebody's approval, but grounded, honest, real, authentic. Once again, it's not for fixing what was broken, though in coaching sometimes we deal with this as well, but it's about revealing what is already there. It's this unique blend of strength and softness, clarity and care. In coaching, at the coaching session, my clients stop pretending that they have all the answers. And they can do this just because this is a very safe environment for them. safe and open. It's partnership. They start getting honest about what they want, about what matters for them, and what they're ready to get rid of. By the way, what we want is the most difficult question. Sometimes when you live in the world, I must, I should, I have to, I ought, it's very difficult to remember what I want, what I like to. And that's why sometimes I ask my clients to think about this in their free time and to make a list of what makes me happy. Actually, I call this like exercise 5x4. And you can do this, by the way, if you want to. Actually, make a list of 5 things which make you happy every day. It could be anything. It could be like a favorite cup of coffee, as you like it. It could be kissing your kid. It could be anything, but done daily. Then 5 things which make you happy weekly. Probably working somewhere, going out, or I don't know, visiting your friend, anything. What makes you happy, not others, but you. 5 things which make you happy monthly, and 5 things which make you happy annually. I promise it won't be a very easy task. But when you have done this, just do this, because it will help you feel happier. And when you are happier, you are much more confident. A part of this, we also work on this inner critic, that voice in our head. And you know, that's good that we have this voice, because actually it's about high standard of quality. But when we are stressed, then the voice says, you're not professional, you're doing this not right, you have failed again. And that's why we gently challenge this voice. The matter is that the voice is exaggerated, hyperbolized, and it's not true. It's just not true. Instead of this, we reconnect to our values that make every person really special, unique. And you know, I'm thinking about such a toy, like a tumbler doll. Probably you know this toy, yeah? You push it and then it sways and then it comes again to the original position. My clients know about this and ask, why do you think this tumbler doll gets to its original state? And they say, well, it's easy just because the center of weight is inside of this toy. Well, really? And what is inside you? What are your values which make you really strong and which allow you not to fall down in any situation? And we also reclaim the leadership voice, and then it feels already like its own. One client told me, I stopped trying to fit someone else's mold. I started trusting my instincts. And you know, my team noticed this immediately. And that is a shift. And leadership in this case becomes not a performance, but a presence. You lead not by being perfect or ideal. Well, nobody is perfect. But you lead by being fully yourself. And actually, this is a secret of any success. We are successful and we are here where we are, not because that some time ago we started working on some weaknesses, trying to improve this and worked hard on this. No. The majority of things which we have now are about our strengths. We are here because we used our strong traits, our strong part of ourselves. And in this space, then, vulnerability becomes our strength. Softness becomes a strategy, and confidence grows. It grows from deep alignment with yourself. And what happens next then? Actually, everything becomes possible with this shift. And at work, we have a deeper trust. Our teams become more honest, more creative, more resilient. And the confidence gap, which I mentioned before, actually starts melting. As one senior manager in FMCG told me, when I stopped trying to be the smartest person in the room and just showed up real, my team started to lead with me, not follow, but lead. And this gives the answer which concept of leadership she prefers, because I've heard about like two definitions. Some people say that leaders are those who create new follows, and that can be true for somebody. And for others, like for this lady, it's like leaders are those who create new leaders. This is the power of authenticity, where strength doesn't work without softness. Because if we use only strength, it becomes an armor. We are protected, but we are isolated. If we use only softness, it's a collapse because we don't create any boundaries and it's overwhelming. Only when we get it together, strength and softness, it really becomes the basis for our leadership style, our own leadership style. And it affects people not only at work, it also affects us outside because we learn how to set boundaries. We have more joy, we become happier, we become more confident. And sometimes we even have this freedom of making decisions and we let go of roles which we never liked actually. But in this case, when we really lead from the inner ourselves, we can do this. And we could actually step into new ones, which feel like home. As my one of my clients put it beautifully, she said like, I finally stopped editing myself. So if we stop treating vulnerability as a weakness, then we use it as a bridge to connection, to trust, to success. The success that doesn't cost our soul. And let me bring this to life with two real stories from my coaching practice. First, CEO in a technology company. When we met, she was stuck. She had built a successful startup. She had to move abroad with two kids because of the war. She continued managing the company, but none of this felt meaningful anymore. She downplayed her own achievements. She couldn't see the way forward. Through coaching, she started seeing herself quite differently. Through deeper self-awareness, she found out where she was losing energy. Then she brought new skills to the team from outside. She stopped doing certain things as a routine just because she realized that she was doing this like to keep her own value in the eyes of others. And she started delegating. And then she focused on her real leadership role. And with that clarity she got, something shifted. Just within a month, she launched a new high potential business branch. She began speaking at conferences, confident, visible, shining, as a real leader, not as a working bee in her team. The second case, a woman who didn't see herself at all as a leader. A housewife with two teenagers, the right hand a supporter for her husband, a home servant to kids. She supported his business, proposed and implemented ideas. She led the projects, managed the new house construction and decoration, all with 2 educational degrees, 4 fluent languages, and a quiet dream. She felt invisible. Her work at home was taken for granted. And she thought maybe any job would give her legitimacy. And she was ready to flee from home to any job, not for money, but so that to get more respect for her time from the close ones. But through coaching, she realized it wasn't about any new job. It was about her confidence, her boundaries, about allowing herself to be a real her. And she rebuilt her sense of worth. Of course, not immediately, not instantly. It took some time because the family, of course, resisted to these changes. But she built the boundaries where they were missing. And then she opened her own beauty business to bring other women, not only beauty, but also psychologically safe and supportive environment. in Ukraine during the war. Can you imagine? Because it was her dream. And now she believed in this and she believed in herself. Actually, these two stories are very much, they are different, but they are very much about the same. We were never meant to lead in someone else's story. We were never meant to choose between strength and softness, not to be rewarded for wearing the mask, and not to be punished for the truth. Leadership doesn't have to be a performance. It can be a relationship. A relationship, first of all, with yourself, with your people, with your purpose. And when women lead from inside out, everything starts changing. And here, what I want to leave you with. You don't need to become someone else to lead powerfully. You need to become more of who
Hello,
you
Natalia.
are.
Sorry for the interrupt.
Yeah,
We are running out of time.
yeah. I would like really just to finish this, that this is what coaching does. And this is what I am here for. If you are ready to pause for a moment and to think, you need to answer the question, who are you becoming? Not the question, what should I do next? But who are you becoming? And it would be my honor to walk beside you in that journey. Thanks, and I'm ready to answer the questions if I have any.
Yeah, Natalia, we have a few questions from our audience. I would like to ask one question.
Yeah.
How does using multiple languages improve coaching for diverse teams?
You mean multiple languages
Yes.
in coaching? Well, actually, my coaching, for instance, wouldn't be different whether I coach in English or Russian or Ukrainian. This is just increases my audience, and that helps me to bring my mission in life to make this world a happier place, where I can, through coaching, support some people on their way to their happiness. So, and the more languages you know, probably it's easier to find a common language with somebody else.
Thank you for your valuable answer, Natalia. It's fantastic presentation. And please stay on the backstage and join the next session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.